Hi all, Jessie B. Scrapbooking back with another process video. This one is for May I Scraplift You? And today I'm going to be scrapbooking MK over at Some Assemblage Required. And here's the layout I'm going to be using. But instead of 3 pictures, I'm only doing 2. So for the third picture, I was going to have this cut apart here. I want to use some flair, a doily. I have some little word phrases from a paper I want to cut out and use some of them. I have tons of stamps that I plan on using, and my papers that I have picked out. And my pictures are of this really cool church at the 1800s town. And I said I was only going to do 2 pictures, but I do have 3 pictures of it. So this is the inside of the church, and here's the outside with my family walking up to it, and then here is one with just me standing there. So I might use all 3 pictures, I might not. We'll see. So let's get going. Okay, so I am going to use the 3 pictures, and I'm going to line them up just across the center, just like MK did. And I'm going to tear some of my paper here, and I am not using the paper with the white strip. I'm using it, the opposite side, and which is not normal what I usually do. Usually I like that white tear, but in this one I decided to use the other one because that's what MK did. Yeah. So here I'm getting it, kind of figuring out how I want it. Yeah, I spend too much time on this for something I'm not even going to work on right this second. But okay, so that's where I'm like, forget it, I'm not gluing these down, so it's fine. And I decided that my hexagons, I'm just reusing hexagons that were already punched out of some cardstock. And I was teaching my niece how to use the hexagon punch. And so she punched out a whole bunch of these and then didn't use them. So I'm going to use them, and I'm going to use my stamps and stamp them up and then ink blend over top of them. So I'm going to stamp this first stamp here is a script stamp, and I'm going to stamp it all in black. And instead of picking up the stamp and stamping it like I was going to, I decided I wanted imperfection stamps. So I'm just putting the hexagons over top of it and yeah, picking up some of it. And then I picked this stamp. It has all the little chevrons, and so I'm just going to do 3 at once. That way I get 3 different stamps. And then this one just has like little square dots, and I'm just stamping it on everything. Yeah, I'm liking that. So now I'm going to grab my brown, and I'm going to go over top of all of the white because I don't want a lot of white in this album because it's very rustic looking to me. And so white is very clean, so I'm just dirtying up all the white with some brown ink here, and it still looks quite white on camera, but in real life it actually has a nice rustic look to it. And then I bring in this paper because it's a great green, and I'm going to stamp out a whole bunch of different leaves, and I think I do 2 of each stamp, and I can't remember how many stamps I used. 2 different stamp sets, I know that much. But yeah, so I'm just going to get all these stamped out. And I end up losing one of the leaves somewhere along the way. I still can't find it. So I stamp out 8, but I only end up with 7. But that's okay. And then this is the last stamp I'm going to use. And then I'll get all those cut out after I clean the stamp off. Okay, so they're all cut out. And then I also cut out those little word phrases that I had earlier. And then I remembered this piece of paper that I wanted to use because I wanted that green chevron, but I didn't want it to be so bright white. So I'm changing it into a little bit of a, rustic, dirtier white. And that is one thing that MK does a lot on her layouts and her stuff. She'll change the color of her paper if she wants it a different color. And she just uses her inks and whatnot, and just she'll go in and change a beautiful wood grain that is like in a white and change it into so it's a brown wood grain, and it's absolutely gorgeous, and she does a really amazing job with it. So she definitely inspired me to yeah, change the color of my paper so it suits me. So I really like that. So that's what I'm doing here. And then now I'm just bringing in the papers, the ripped paper that I want behind my pictures. And I decide that I want to do some stamping on the background. I picked this background because it is a map, and so it does have lines on it and like distressed marks, and it's a great background. But I decided I wanted to bring some of this really pretty stamp. It's a Bow Bunny stamp that I got for Christmas, and this is the first time I've used it. And it has all these vines and leaves, and it's just really cool. So I am going to stamp it in 4, I think, different spots. And this is the bigger one, and I keep bringing my silicone mat back in because I end up, wanting to stamp off of the page, and I don't mind stamping off the page on it because it washes really easy, and I don't want to stamp onto my self-healing mat. So I got them all stamped with the big stamp that I wanted to use, and then I start putting the pictures down, and as I'm looking at it, I'm realizing I'm going to cover up a lot of the stamps. So I grab a smaller stamp from that same stamp set, and I'm just going to add to the ones that are poking out from behind the picture. Just a little bit, and I like the way that turned out because it just gives it a little bit more that shows. So I got those done. Now I'm going to put my torn pages, or torn papers behind the pictures. And I do fight with these a little bit, but I do eventually get them. I didn't put enough glue on this one, so it does move, and so I have to fix that. And then this green one, it was just a scrap, and it is torn on the wrong spot on the one end, but I end up covering it up, so you don't even notice. But I get this one tucked back in there, and I like that. Now I'm bringing in those hexagons. See where I just covered that one up? And I'm going to mess around with these hexagons, trying to figure out exactly how I want them to sit. And then I'll all of a sudden realize that I wanted to put that doily in the bottom here too. So I'll bring that in a second. Yeah. But of course I don't want to use white, so I'm changing the color to brown. And it works really well. And so I get that all changed, and then just cut off the piece that I want to use. And then I'll start working with the hexagons again and try to get them lined up like I want them. I end up bringing in one more hexagon. I'll stamp it and then move them around. So while I'm playing with the hexagons, I just want to remind everyone to go and check out everybody that is participating with May I Scraplift You. The list is getting quite big in the playlist, and I've only gone through part of them. I have a lot to watch yet, but I really do enjoy them. There are so many talented people playing along and scraplifting, not just the list that Crystal put together, but their own people that they want to scraplift too. So you get lots of different variety. You get a huge variety, and everyone is doing anything that they want. So it's not like we're all doing the same sketch or anything. So you get a really nice variety. And it's a lot of fun. So make sure you go and check that out. Okay, so I got all the hexagons glued down, and now I'm figuring out which of these little word phrases I want to use. So I end up using 4 of them, and one of them I decided I didn't want it in that shape, so I changed the shape into just a flat one, and then I inked up the edges just to make it look like it was meant to be like that. And so that's the one that says never stop exploring, and then the other one on the bottom says travel more, and then the 2 on the top, one is we are family, and then the other one says make memories. So now I'm just adding in my leaves that I picked, and then just some stickers from the sticker book that it's a Jen Hatfield sticker book that I use with this album. And so I'm just adding some of those in, and then pretty soon here, something happens and my camera turned off and I didn't notice it, but yeah, so I do add a little bit more off camera, but I do come back and explain that. But so here I'm going to add this, and then the camera's going to shut off. Okay, so you missed a tiny little bit. I took and glued everything down. I added a couple little bug stickers here and there. I did put some flare. I just used my hole punch. This is a 1-inch hole punch, and put the flare right over top of the picture, and so I have a couple little flares. Yeah, everything is all glued down, and that is it. I really think this turned out really nice. Thanks for watching. If you like what you see, please give me a thumbs up. If you want to see more, please subscribe. Bye.